Welcome to Inside Titan Sports. I'm your host, Jeff Radcliffe, and on this St. Patrick's Day edition, we're going to delve in to the Eastern Florida State College athletics program for the next 30 minutes. And on this edition, let's just say the Titans' eyes are a-smiling as we'll have softball head coach Ed Yanis and Mackenzie Sowers, his leadoff hitter. That will be just up in just a moment. We'll also talk tennis with Jerry Thor and golf with Jamie Howell. But without further ado, we begin with the leadoff man and the leadoff woman. How are you? It's
Good,
Mackenzie Sowers, Ed Yanis, and you guys riding a nice streak right now. Have won 8 of 9. It's a good time to be a Titan and also following the softball program right now.
Well, if you remember, Jeff, when we've gone back a few months when we were here, we weren't really playing at our peak, but now we seem to be able to turn a corner. Since it's St. Patrick's Day, the Irish guys are starting to fall on our side. Some of the balls are starting to bounce our way. We're starting to capitalize on some of the other teams' mistakes, so they're doing a phenomenal job. We just try to stay out of the way like we talk about all the time. It's not us, it's them, so we just try to get them to the park on time. That's all we're doing.
Mackenzie, is it the luck of the Irish right now? You're the leadoff hitter, the outfielder. Things kind of going well in the batting order right now, isn't it?
Yeah, they're definitely turned around. We've definitely come together. I mean, I wouldn't say it's luck. I think it's the work we're putting in more than anything. But
good. Well said. Let's talk about what you had this. Every day it's a doubleheader, every time
yes,
out.
Sir.
And in the softball and in the baseball season too, there is no rest for the weary. And you had a nice doubleheader win against Iowa Central.
Yeah, they came down to play. You know, even though they're up north teams, you think it might be a little bit competition weary because of travel and whatnot, but they came down to play. We had a couple miscues here and there, but the kids battled back in the bottom of the 7th, and Taylor drove in the game-winning RBI. And the second game, some of the bats woke up and found some holes, and again, things are starting to maybe bounce our way. And every day is a challenge, but it's a fun challenge, and they come to work. Like she said, it's the work they put in every day, and they don't take a day off.
3 for 4, the double for you in that one game. Is hitting contagious as a team, and also for you personally when you guys get in a roll, start winning games? Does the ball get bigger? Is it easier to hit?
yeah, I think it's definitely contagious when you see people in front of you or behind you getting hits. It makes you want to hit. You think, I can do this. It's a little bit of confidence booster, but I mean, it's also starting out. You just want to get on base and you want to start something. So.
Let's talk about what you got coming up here. I mean, we are, right in the thick of things in the Southern Conference right now. You're tied for second in the conference, just behind the first place Indian River. I think they're a heck of a team as we're seeing right now. I think they're 23-6. It's you and Palm Beach. How is the conference race shaping up, and can we climb up a little further, being in second?
Yeah, I think every day you have a chance to go out there and compete. It doesn't matter the records going in, and I think we have a good chance. Alexa's doing a heck of a job on the mound. We say the mound or the circle. I use those baseball phrases. Sorry about those baseball terms, but she's doing a heck of a job, and I think we're going to be able to compete. And we put the lines down on the field every day, and we go out there. Records doesn't mean anything. I was watching another network, let's just say last night, and they're talking about Florida, the women's team making it into March Madness, and they're talking about their seed. And the coach made a good point. It doesn't matter the seed going in. The other team doesn't care. So they're playing Albany, I think it was, but. Same with us. It doesn't matter who we're playing. We play against the ball, not the scoreboard or their record going in. So I think we'll be able to compete. And like we've always tried to do that for the last 13, 14 years we've been here. Put a team on the field that's going to compete, and they're doing a good job.
Mackenzie, the early part of the season was more of a struggle. What has changed now, really, for you and the rest of the team?
I think that it's just we've all finally came together. No one expected it to be a rough start, but we came back, we figured out what was going wrong, and we started working harder at our weaknesses to come out stronger on the field.
Can I add to that, Jeff?
Absolutely.
Only because
the floor is yours.
We're getting some kids back in the right spots. Some injuries, as every sport knows, you have their times and injuries, and it's when they rear their ugly head early in the season. We've time to get them back. So we're starting to get kids back in the right spot, and that helps. The players that we had put in positions, everybody's doing their job accordingly, whether it's pinch running, pinch hitting, whatever the case may be. So we're getting the pieces of the puzzles back, and I think that's part of the reason why things are starting to go in a positive way.
Is there any difference between playing a conference game and then playing a lot of these out-of-state teams tonight? In fact, you've got Southwest Illinois and Kishwaukee, which are teams from out in the Midwest. Do you approach things differently whether you're playing a conference game or not? Do you have to ramp it up a little bit?
No, we don't play it any differently. Like he said before, we're playing the ball. We're not playing the team. I mean, every game we're coming out, we want to win. You don't want to go out and just be like, oh, this isn't conference, so it doesn't matter. Every game matters. Ooh. Where's this going? I'm sorry.
Well, all the chatter, in the outfield.
She's an outfielder. She's got to continually talk. So yeah.
That said, you got the big two-game set against Broward here on the weekend, which is, as far as the conference race goes, is the bread and butter.
Yeah. Again, I think it's going to be a good weekend series. We'll come out to play. Just to go back against tonight's games is, again, these teams are ranked in wherever their towns that they come from. The team on Sunday was ranked, I think, #1 in their particular state. So. Again, their team are coming down to play. They're not here just to enjoy the sun. So, and the same thing with Broward coming up this weekend. I'm sure they're going to come in ready to play, and I think we'll be ready too. So, and let the chips fall where they may. As one of my good mentors in our dugout, Coach Howell, knows. We talk about that quite a bit. Let the chips fall where they may. So.
Don't you love the cliches in sports? And I'm sure Coach has quite a bit of. Are there things, are there rules, softball rules you kind of live by?
Gosh, there's a lot of things he says. It's good day for two.
Yeah, all right.
I think let the chips fall where they may is our main thing we look for before the game now.
Yeah, hey, the cliches are cliches for a reason because they always seem to come true and ring true. Let's talk a little bit about what's coming up the rest of the season. How do you guys keep riding this trajectory up?
I think if we just keep our energy level up and we keep working hard at practice and putting in all the work we need to, I think we'll be fine as long as no one slacks off. And I mean, it's more exciting. Like, we're winning games, we're coming out to win now, and we're leading on conference with a 3-1. It's starting out good. 11
straight state tournament appearances. That's kind of the way it is supposed to go for Eastern Florida State College, especially in your tenure. You're now 13th seasons? I know you lose count sometimes.
I do. Bob will know.
That not necessarily the end all be all, really. You have goals beyond that.
Certainly, everybody comes for us at the end of the rainbow, if you will, is in Utah for the national tournament. So, we like to try to go into the conference or state tournament as deep as we can. And every day is a battle. So it doesn't matter the sports. This time of year, you start winding down. People start looking for other things, and it can be a distraction sometimes in practice. But they do a good job. They don't let my dugout antics, if you will, bother them. They know what it is now, especially the sophomores. They kind of rein in the freshmen. They get a little nervous, but they understand what it takes and what I do in the dugout, not to let that affect them. And they just come out ready to go. They're a pleasure to be with.
Mackenzie, when we had you on before, we were talking with Coach Yanis. We were talking about, this is early in the season, actually before everything started, and we were talking about how hard the schedule is going to be this year. Has that been the case? Does it feel like it's been a very, very difficult schedule, and how is that preparing you guys for the rest of the way?
We've definitely played some top-notch teams coming into it. I mean, I think it's prepared us, because I don't think we were expecting to come out the way we did, but it's prepared us on getting us to work harder and see where our weaknesses were, to work harder to beat the teams that are coming up into our conference, because conference gets us farther into states. And
that's all she wrote, right? Mackenzie Sowers, Ed Yanis. Softball team continuing to ride high. Again, 2 big games tonight. If you are watching this, you still have time to get out there to catch the second game of that doubleheader, but also the big doubleheader against Broward this weekend. Best of luck. We'll talk to you guys down the line. Ed Yanis, Mackenzie Sowers, the sophomore outfielder. When we come back, we'll talk tennis. Jerry Thor drops in on Inside Titan Sports next.
Eastern Florida State College. This is where you discover new opportunities, where you pursue your dreams, and careers take flight. Apply now for new bachelor and associate degree programs in business, healthcare, computer technology, and other growing fields. Eastern Florida, where Titans rise. Apply today.
Welcome back to Inside Titan Sports. I'm Jeff Radcliffe, and we now turn our attention to Titans tennis as we welcome in Jerry Thor once again. Good to have you along as the season continues, this marathon women's tennis season. Right now, 7-6. The girls, there's one of these things where you get a couple steps forward, then a couple steps back, but that's the process when you take over a program, right?
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. We just finished up our schedule of Division II teams coming in mid-March, kind of trying to help us sharpen things up a little bit as we head into the final stretch of our 8-9 month season here.
Yeah, I mean, and it's been a fun time at this brand new sparkling tennis facility. Now you got to start thinking about it's going to be road really the rest of the way, and there's some challenges inherent in that.
Yeah, we're excited to get on the road. We'll travel to Mississippi this weekend to play 2 teams there. Meridian's always the top-ranked team out of Mississippi, so it's nice to go out and have some kind of inter-region play just to help with seeding and rankings, and also just to see another part of the country. They have a lot of tennis teams in Mississippi. The quality is pretty good, and we look forward to that match. Their coach, Mick Fail, up there is president of our coaching association, and she does a fantastic job leading her group of men and women, and so it'll be a very high-quality match.
I ask every coach this: when you do head out on the road, there is an opportunity to bond. I mean, the girls are, they're already close. The team's already very, very close, but then you get a chance to really know each other off the court a little bit more.
Yeah, sure. We're gonna be. It's a 10 to 12-hour drive, depending on stops. So there's plenty of time sitting next to your teammates. I'm sure they'll have a lot of games to come up with to keep things fun. And it's just being on the road is always exciting. You get to stay in the hotel and go out to eat at restaurants, and that's just part of the student-athlete experience that I think is very rewarding.
It was a mixed bag over the weekend, an 8-1 loss to Broward in region play. However, you get a second win this season against a ranked Hillsborough team that went 7-2. You take the good with the bad, but that was a great performance against Hillsborough.
Yeah, consistency is something we talked about on this show before, and Hillsborough was nice to get out there and get another top 10 win over them. Broward, those matches were close. We had a bunch of tiebreakers, so we're right in the mix there. And now it's up to us. We've got a couple weeks here. We get some more matches, a lot of practice time to see can we close that gap and can we, push ourselves into the top 3 come region tournament time.
And Catherine Zillis at the number 5 spot wins in both. So that's something certainly to be happy about with her performance.
Yeah, and she's been a little banged up out there, but she's just a tough kid. She just refuses to lose, putting in the work in practice and just stays super consistent on the court, and her teammates get behind her and just finds a way to win. She's down there. She doesn't miss a whole lot of tennis balls, and if you do that on the tennis court, you're going to find some success.
Catherine Dreg against Hillsborough trailed most of the match, then made this furious comeback, and she gets the win to really kind of get things going in the right direction in that matchup.
Yeah, she's fun to watch. Our number 1 singles player, the crowd kind of gets behind her too. Off to a slow start, and then just refocused, resets, and that's part of the toughness that we're trying to instill in them. She's a freshman who's still in her under 3 months being here in college, so to just see her perform, then go out against Broward, and she had another nail biter there. It came down to the wire. She wasn't able to pull off, but she's continuing to learn and trying to make those improvements to her game, and excited to see that, what she can accomplish throughout the rest of her career.
Annalie Collings and Nicole Trio, some of the other leaders on the team, they got wins in that one as well. As their contributions continue, not just with their play, but also with their leadership.
Yeah, the team's really come together. They're cheering for each other, just going out there and trying to battle on every court. Supporting each other, and everybody's doing a great job. Juliana Hull is kind of holding down at doubles. Her play has been really outstanding, and we're just everybody's trying to push here. This is our final push. Our goal is to make the national tournament, and now is the time where it's kind of crunch time for us.
We mentioned that you are going on the road, and this season, I mean, you have the fall season where kind of everything gets ratcheted up for you guys here in the spring. It is a long marathon. You guys are still coming out of the woods here relatively healthy, and as you're about to head down this long stretch of road contest to close the season.
Yeah, this is the time when we're very fortunate to have our outstanding athletic staff. Patty and Amanda do a terrific job as our athletic trainers. We're very fortunate to have them taking care of the women, getting them on the court, ready to compete. Everybody's battling some sort of injury, but they've done a good job of keeping everybody healthy, and we very much appreciate their help.
After the trip to Mississippi, you've got the St. Pete's, the ASAs, teams you're very, very familiar with. I guess when you're in such a small region as far as the number of teams, you're seeing the same teams over and over. Is that helpful in your mind to kind of know what do we need to change perhaps on the next time we play them, or is that kind of a hindrance that not these guys again?
Well, we know, being here in the Florida Region 8, no matter who we take the court against, they're going to be good. They're going to be awfully good. And so that's good that every match, there's not going to be a letdown in the level. We need to be at a high level every single match. We need to practice that way every single practice. And, we're familiar with them, so we're familiar with players that can hit the ball. And so it's exciting. That's why, I'm very fortunate to be here, and that's why our players want to come here, because they want to compete against the best. And at Eastern Florida, that's, across our athletic department, whether it's, men's golf or whether that's men's and women's soccer or our men's basketball team at the national tournament right now. Everybody wants to compete, pursue excellence together.
There's as far as things you've talked about all season, the one thing that's really been consistent is the inconsistency of doubles. We talked about it, during the break a little bit. Outside of that, or if there are things, hey, we're getting close, that we know that to be able to take that next step, we're really, really close if we do this one thing. What would that be?
I think continuing to develop confidence. When we step on the court, we practice well. The doubles is going well. But I think just now having kind of a short-term history here of not finding success in doubles, they're taking that onto the court with them during the match. So just developing confidence, believing in themselves. They're all here for a reason. It's because coaches believe they could be successful. And so they needed to go out there, be confident. We're behind them. They have 100% support of the college and the community, and try to come through.
And then once the season ends, and we're not looking at that right now, I mean, how have things been for you in the job, and that this is your first year, you're building a program, or things on schedule with that? Because now it turns out when you're in the junior college ranks, you lose your crop of players every other year. So how are things going as far as building the program and getting the type of athletes you want in here?
Yeah, I've been hard at work recruiting, not only to replace our sophomores on the women's side, but bring in a whole group
the men's
of
coach
men.
too now.
Yep, absolutely. And so it's been exciting to see the players the high level of players that are interested in coming here. And so, yeah, this year has kind of been laying the foundation of the culture we want, try to get that in place and get, from the way we stretch to the way we wrap up our matches at the end, trying to do everything at a high level. To the best of our ability, and so I feel like it's on track. And as we continue to bring in players and this process continues, we look for the sky's the limit for this program. It's an incredible place to play. The facilities are great, the academics are great, and our tennis program is going to be great.
You got to just balance it all. Well, no rest for the weary. Well, we certainly wish you some rest, I guess, on this long bus trip out to Mississippi. Best of luck. The rest of the way, we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Thanks. That is Jerry Thor, the head coach of the women's tennis program here at Eastern Florida State College. Also, the men's program, which we'll be talking about in the coming months as well. Our final segment is next. Jamie Howell will join me on Inside Titan Sports right after this.
This is where we're building the future. This is where we meet the challenge, where leaders emerge and careers take flight. This is where you discover new opportunities. Choose to stand where excellence lives, where titans rise. Eastern Florida State College.
Welcome back to Inside Titan Sports. I'm Jeff Radcliffe, and we now begin our final segment as we bring in Jamie Howell to talk about Titans golf, the reigning National Player of the Year. Your team now ranked third in the country still. Congratulations on the season that it is starting to continue to build as we look towards Durant and those nationals that you guys are hosting this year.
It's a busy time of year. We're 10 weeks now into the semester. We played 3 events. We have 2 regular season events to go. There's a lot on the plate right now.
Second place most recently at the Florida Panther Invitational. Second place, nothing to complain or be upset about, but I know when it comes to golf there is a perfectionism in it with players and coaches too, and there's been a couple of seconds, and we're just a shot away, one of those things.
I don't like the term perfectionist, but at the same time,
sure.
We strive to be the best we can. And
yes.
We had the lead twice this spring, fair-sized leads going into the 3rd round that got away from us. That's a little bit concerning, a little disappointing to me. Our home event, the Titan, we were leading after 2 days, 2 rounds, finished 2nd. Went up to Georgia, had a bad first round there, finished 2nd to a good team up there. Played Florida Tech's event, had 2 really good rounds the first day, leading by 6. We're the only junior college team in the field with a couple of very good NCAA Division II schools, so we're in the deep end of the pool when it comes to experience there. And we struggled the last round. The conditions were difficult, and we got off to a really poor start. The guys hung in there. We played all the way to the end, and we lost by a shot there, so kind of a sting more than anything.
Gotcha. Consistency is the key, I think, in most sports. That's certainly true in collegiate golf, too, from week to week, but also during the round.
We've been reasonably consistent. The issue for me is the consistency we've had with missing some basics. The little bitty chip shot beside the edge of the green, getting down in 2 rather than 3. That area there, that's where we look to improve right now going into these last 2 events.
Which are the Barry Buccaneer Invitational. You have like a 3-week hiatus, if you will, from the last event. That's a challenge in itself. I know spring break kind of bridges that a little bit, but that's not going to be easy to coach through, right?
No, it is, because it comes at a good time for us. Yeah. I can tell you, I'm biased, but the guys work their butts off this time of year because we start early. We host the first event every year, that first week in February, and we work a great deal toward it. We know what our season's leading up to, and I try to do my best to get all of our work in early, because when you get to the end of the semester, my concern is how they handle their final exams. The golf is going to be the easiest thing they do, and the last thing they need is to have golf hanging over a class. So we'll play early, and we'll work hard early, and some of the fruits of our labor, we get to go to a tournament like Barry. Barry is one of the top NCAA Division II programs in the country. They've won a national title 3 out of the last 6 years, I believe. It's a star-studded field of teams. I mean, very, very deep in talent. And we believe we can go down there and compete. Last year, we had the lead for a short period of time. I look to go down there and compete again, and the guys know that. And they're not going to go down there just to show up. We're on a mission to go down there and compete, and you want the other teams to look at Eastern Florida State and go, look at those guys over there, a bunch of freshmen and sophomores. Look at them playing. That's what we're after right there.
Talk about some of the freshman and sophomore performances. Obviously, Kerry Sweeney's been there all year. Brad Bawden's been there all year. Some of the other guys, it's been really a good top 4 core, but then the 5th man, you have some people kind of really rounding into form right now.
Right. Yeah. Sweeney's been a little up and down as of late. It's coming around for him. Brad Bawden finished a shot back at Tech. Corey Herman's been very steady. Some news, Corey Herman last night committed to Coastal Carolina up in South Carolina.
Chanticleer.
Michael Keymont's been in the number 4 spot, and our number 5 man has been up in the air between Tyler Bennett and Michael Stewart, and as of right now, Tyler Bennett's made a little bit of a move into that. So the team is rounding out through competition. The good news is I don't have to pick who that person is. In golf, we can use the scores.
Let's talk about, I guess, mental edge and pressure. Does that build here? Because, look, the end goal is being back here at this national tournament. And with each event that passes, you're getting closer and closer to that. You have to have a special edge as an athlete as the pressure starts building, knowing what's coming.
Part of my job is having the guys make sure that they focus on what's right in front of us. Again, we're preparing right now for Barry, probably doing it in a little different way than most people would recognize. If we've done a fair amount of work, now when we go to Barry, we're going to refine. We're going to work on those basics. Believe it or not, we need a little bit of a break. Spring break comes at an opportune time for us. This past week, I changed a little bit of our normal routine, thinking of how much pressure they're going to put on themselves 3 seconds in a row, and you have to answer the question constantly. What's wrong? What did you miss? What did you do? And that gets a little old. So this past Friday, rather than practice, we took a van and we went down to Florida Tech's challenge course down in Fellsmere, and we did something totally different where they had to basically pair up with a buddy and go through the obstacles with the counselors down there leading us through it. And it got their mind totally away from golf, and at the same time, they still had to execute these obstacle courses and get over all these obstacles that make it up. And it was good for them. They could blow off some steam. I heard a lot of laughter. I heard guys getting on one another. It was basically one of those items where they could let their guard down for a day and say, you know what, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of a break here, so we can catch our breath and go forward.
Of course, they're competitive even in that aspect too.
Absolutely. Right? The theme for the day was don't let coach beat you.
That's a good theme. Cross training, then, if you will, is that mentally and physically? Then?
They actually take us on a Marine Corps physical training area, where basically you're going over some of the things that they would do training, yes. And it's physical fitness. We trained in an area they call the high ropes. We're 20 and 30 feet above ground. We're tethered to a cable, but we have to negotiate these cables above ground and just kind of learn how to basically trust that you can get through this, and you know the fellows talk you through it. It was a good experience for all of them because they had to think their way through this, and again, it got them out of the golf mode for a day or two.
I'm going to run on this fitness thing here because it's something that's been in golf circles professional really the last decade. When you talked about Tiger Woods and maybe the breakdown that he has had with basically his body style and the workout regimen that he had, as opposed to others who don't seem to work out as much but are just as successful as of recent times. Where do you fall in that little continuum of being a fit golfer?
In golf, you have three prongs of fitness. You have stamina, you have flexibility, and you have strength. If you could only choose two, you would choose stamina and flexibility. One, the flexibility of how we move our bodies to swing a club. Two, the stamina. Our day typically is from daylight until dark. When we play a tournament, 36 holes the first day, we're on the golf course 10 hours. So I need guys that have stamina. We run. My big thing with my guys is we run, we stretch. Now, if you include strength, well, that's your ace in the hole because you need to have strength basically to support yourself. You need to have strength to play in the athletic world now. And as you mentioned, when you watch golf on television now, they look more athletic. You know, they're more fit than they used to be. And I would still say that at the end of the day, you know, whoever has the best stamina is going to come out on top more often. You know, stamina not only physically but in your mind as well.
Well, that's a fitting way to end. Jamie Howell, thank you as always.
Always a pleasure.
Best
Thank
of luck
you.
as we motor in towards the really key moments of the season for the men's golf program.
Working on it.
That is all the time we have, but before we say goodbye, a couple of programming notes to get you caught up on. Next week, as we've already alluded to, is spring break, so our next show will actually air on the 31st of March. We'll certainly have plenty of things to talk about on that show. The men's basketball's trip to Hutchinson, Kansas for the national tournament. Also, OCB and their big debut at the soccer complex. That will be a lot of things to talk about as we have the purple theme as well continuing on campus. In the meantime, you need to be caught up on anything on the Titans athletic program. All you need to do is check out the website at EFSCTitans.com. And then we will see you again in 2 weeks on Inside Titan Sports. So long.